You're about to witness one of the most explosive Senate moments of the year, not because of heated arguments, but because Cory Booker exposed how the FBI is being quietly reshaped for political loyalty.
I asked you whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed to that position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed?
Yes, sir.
Did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were confirmed.
And I'm assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration?
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify, excuse me, you did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
That's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released. And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice...
You and I both understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and
there is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a simple question. If you have
Mr.
a transcript,
Patel, during your nomination hearing, you promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I ask you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that. A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes, against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025, and in that letter you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States, and so I'm wondering under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
That matter is under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, well, discuss this. Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security task force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well?
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
The premise of what you say is entirely
Have there been
false.
any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say America is not safer under this leadership.
I am not saying
America is safer because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have seized 6,000 weapons and
you are
23,000
not
violent felons have
that
been
FBI
arrested.
agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public Corrections Squad reassigned. People who defend us, defend children reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you time and time again attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents yet. You're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to head the Bureau. But here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that tear this country apart.
To address your falsehoods.
You can try all you want
in this country.
to not take responsibility for what you have said. Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time is over.
You may be the charge of the FBI, but I am not afraid of you.
What we just witnessed between Senator Cory Booker and FBI Director Kash Patel wasn't a tense exchange, it was a reckoning. A moment that forced the nation to confront a terrifying question. What happens when the institutions meant to protect us are slowly bent toward political loyalty instead of public safety? Booker didn't simply interrogate Patel. He peeled back the layers of a government in moral crisis. His goal wasn't performance, it was truth. Under a president who demands loyalty over law, allegiance over integrity, and obedience over truth, Booker set out to discover whether the FBI still stands as an independent institution, or if it's now just another political weapon serving Donald Trump. When Booker pressed Patel about pre-confirmation discussions with the White House, specifically whether he had promised to remove senior FBI officials, Patel's answers said more in their silence than any statement could. Not once did he commit to transparency. Not once did he affirm the Bureau's independence. Instead, Patel hid behind vagueness and legal jargon, echoing a pattern that has become all too familiar in the Trump era. evasion as policy, opacity as protection. But Booker wasn't deterred. He moved to Patel's grand jury testimony, probing Trump's false claim that he declassified the documents found at Mar-a-Lago. Patel refused to clarify, citing a missing transcript. Booker reminded him that he, as the witness, could release his own words. Patel still refused. This wasn't about classified material, it was about protecting a political defense in a criminal case involving stolen government secrets. Booker then shifted to what may be the most chilling revelation: the systematic purge of career FBI officials. These are not political operatives, they're professionals who have spent decades defending this country from terrorists, cyber attacks, espionage, and corruption. Booker highlighted the firing of Brian Driscoll, a decorated veteran agent, and demanded to know under what authority Patel claimed such power. Patel again deflected, hiding behind ongoing litigation. But the larger question remains: why is an FBI director invoking presidential authority he does not possess to remove career agents? Booker's point was clear. This isn't administrative reshuffling. It's ideological cleansing. Experts are being replaced by loyalists. The FBI isn't being reformed. It's being reshaped into a political instrument. As the questioning deepened, Booker revealed another disturbing trend: the diversion of FBI resources. Under Patel's leadership, elite agents once dedicated to counterintelligence, child exploitation, and anti-corruption cases are being reassigned to street-level immigration sweeps. Booker cited specific examples: agents pulled off cases involving child trafficking, Russian oligarchs, and public corruption, and reassigned to fulfill Trump's immigration agenda. Patel didn't deny it. He didn't even correct the record. He simply challenged the premise. That's not a rebuttal. That's a refusal to engage with the truth. Booker's subtext was unmistakable. When political loyalty dictates law enforcement priorities, national security becomes collateral damage. By the time Booker reached his closing remarks, the chamber felt heavy, as if everyone present understood the stakes. He laid it bare. Under Patel's leadership, the FBI's independence is eroding. The agency's reservoir of expertise is draining. America's ability to confront foreign and domestic threats is weakening. Booker didn't pull punches. He said plainly that Patel's actions were compromising national security. And then, in a rare act of candor, Booker turned personal. He told Patel he wouldn't last, not because Booker wished it, but because Trump's loyalty is transactional. Once Patel outlives his usefulness, he'll be discarded like so many before him. It wasn't an insult, it was a warning and a plea. A call for Patel to remember his oath not to a man, but to the Constitution. Then came the eruption. Patel accused Booker of dividing the country. The chairman struggled to maintain order. The tension was electric and revealing. It showed just how fragile this moment in American governance has become. When oversight hearings begin to resemble emotional battlegrounds, something fundamental has broken: trust, norms, and shared reality. But Booker's voice cut through the noise. He wasn't shouting into chaos, he was sounding an alarm. The FBI is being reshaped in ways that are unprecedented, untested, and unsafe. This isn't about partisanship. It's about the integrity of law enforcement itself. And for those watching at home, Booker's message was clear. Democracy doesn't collapse overnight, it erodes piece by piece, agency by agency, norm by norm. So stay informed, stay engaged, share the truth. Because our democracy is strongest when citizens refuse to be silent.